Indy Mogul.
Hey Indy Mogulers, Griffin here with another episode of the Awesome Directors Project. Last week, filmmaker Tom Antos showed us how storyboarding and strategic lighting design leads to some really cinematic looking shots. And if you missed that episode, you can click right here to check that out. This week, he continues his filmmaking lesson with a tutorial on camera movement, using a DIY dolly and sometimes simply the warp stabilizer effect in After Effects.
Hey guys, welcome back. So last Monday I showed you how designing your shots can make them look a lot more cinematic. Today I'll show you how adding camera movement can make your whole production look a lot bigger and how it can add extra impact to your shots. First take a look at these examples that I'll be using from the new video that I'm working on.
Gentlemen, he struck again. At least this time he had the decency to leave a few clues.
Where do we start?
We analyze. We do things right for a change.
Sir, I'm with my partner on this. Less talking, more action.
We cannot afford another mistake.
It won't happen again.
No! It won't! Because if it does, you're off the case. If it does, you're off the force. Both of you. Now, what do we know?
He's about 20 inches.
Yeah, round. What else?
Word on the street is they call him El Pelota.
Mexican. Shit.
I'm calling in the big guns on this one.
The FBI?
Chuck Norris?
No. I'm calling in the ninjas.
Alright, so as you can see, this is my new video is a parody of these sort of crime thriller slash cop movies. And as you can see, there's a bunch of shots in the sequence where I used the dolly to add some movement to the shots. Which I also did in the whole opening sequence of my video, which I showed last week. But before I tell you guys, sort of why I did it and what's the effect that it creates, I first wanted to show you guys how you can create your own camera dolly, like the one that I've done, for around $120. Now here's me using the dolly, and as you can see, it's a full-size dolly that you can sit on. It has nice, adjustable seat. And I built it out of some plywood, some skateboard wheels that rotate, which is good because then you can also put it on curved tracks. And to make this dolly, it took me around 4 hours. So if you guys want to learn how to build one for yourself, then just click the link to the video that's on my channel, or just click the link in the description of the video. So once you have a dolly, then you gotta know when to use it. Too many times I've seen people using a dolly in their videos just simply because they have it, and it seems like they use it in every shot, even shots that don't really need it. In the opening sequence of my video, which I showed last week, I used the dolly kind of in a few shots to add a little bit of extra suspense and kind of mystique to the shots. Because the whole sequence is about this girl that's walking down the hallway. She hears some weird sound. She's not quite sure what might be lurking around the corner. And when the camera just slightly moves in those shots, it just kind of makes it feel like maybe the camera is gonna reveal something. Somebody standing there or something like that. But that's why the camera moves in that sequence are very subtle. In this sequence, and I'm showing you guys this week, I use the camera dolly more so that I can reuse the same shot and just kind of reframe. Like in this shot up here, it first starts off with a two-shot of the two hero cops, and then when the detective steps in, you'll notice that I move the camera to the left, the dolly, to kind of reframe it better. And then when the detective comes over to the other cop, the camera moves further down the dolly, and it kind of changes from a side shot to like sort of an over-the-shoulder kind of shot, and it all happens basically within the same shot, which is better than having to set up all these separate shots and then having to cut. A lot of times it's just better to keep the shots longer and don't avoid cutting unnecessarily unless the sequence needs some spontaneous kind of editing and cutting. As you'll notice there on the ground, I have some marks, some piece of tape that marks the position for the actors to stop, and so all of this kind of stuff, again, it just doesn't happen by its own. So you got to kind of figure out where each actor is going to be, where the camera is going to be, and you got to put marks on the ground so that you end up with nice framing in each shot. Because good framing doesn't just happen. Again, you gotta kind of create all these things, and these are things, the same kind of things that are done on big budget films, and the reason is because they work, and it doesn't cost you anything, just other than a little piece of tape on the ground. But it really makes a big difference, because if the actors didn't have those marks, then if in a close-up shot like this, even if they took one step further or one step back, it would completely change the staging, and the lighting and the angle, but just might not look very good, and also it just might be hard getting both of those actors nicely framed in that shot. So you gotta, those are the little things you gotta think about. So you gotta rehearse with your actors the scene. Once you like what they're doing, you kind of, figure out their final placements, put the marks on the ground, and then you're ready to start filming. Now in the next sequence that I'm about to show you guys, I use the camera movement to again kind of reframe the shot, and I'm going from a single shot to a shot of all three actors, and also to kind of do a sort of a little surprise reveal. That helps the scene. The only other way I could have done it is to get a completely separate shot, a reverse shot of the other two actors, and then just cut to it, which I think would have been less effective. But anyways, take a look at the sequence first.
It's got comedy.
Alright, so a Chinaman and a ethnic individual walk into a bar.
Suspense.
Alright, so as you can see, it starts off with a shot of the detective, and then it pulls out and we see the other two cops, and the camera movement in this case just helps with the whole reveal of the joke, and showing the disappointed look on the other two cops' faces as they listen to the really bad joke. The next sequence I'm about to show you guys is has a camera movement on a dolly, but it's for a different effect. Here I use them more to kind of add a bit more of an impact to make the shot basically look more heroic. So here, take a look at this.
Get ready for a movie of epic proportions.
Now this next shot I'll show you guys, I moved the camera in again on the subject right at the end of the shot. I did it sort of again to accentuate and kind of almost create this kind of again hero shot of the detective saying this really bad line, basically. So anyways, take a look at it.
Why'd you shoot him?
You're under arrest.
Cardiac arrest. From director Tom Antos.
So yeah, so and as you can see, it's moving the camera can just create slightly different effects in your video, and in this shot actually at the end where he talks about the ninjas, it's the same idea again. I kind of punch in on his face again. It's this really bad cheesy kind of a hero shot where he just says this again horrible line.
Word on the street is they call him El Pelota.
Mexican. Shit.
I'm calling in the big guns on this one.
The FBI?
Chuck Norris?
No. I'm calling in the ninjas.
Alright, so that's it for camera moves. Now, in case you guys, can't afford to build, the camera dolly like the one that I have, or maybe buy one or buy a Steadicam and stuff, but you still want to have nice moving camera shots, then there's this great new tool out there now that comes in Adobe After Effects version 5.5. which will basically save your ass. I used it already in a few cases where sometimes I just forgot to bring my dolly, or maybe I wasn't expecting to get a moving shot, and I just ended up getting doing some shots on my own, just handheld, and then using Adobe After Effects I was able to basically make it look almost as if I had a nice Steadicam or I had the camera on a dolly. Now, if you don't know anything about special effects, don't worry, it's super easy. Really. Well, here, let me show you guys. I shot these examples here with my brother, and this was before we started doing the video, just as a test to see how the whole hero shot with the cops would look. And as you can see, it's really shaky, and it's basically handheld. And then I throw it into the After Effects CS5.5. If you can't afford to buy it, you can go to the Adobe website and download a free trial version for 30 days. You basically just load in the footage, right click on it, choose effects, then go to distort, and then choose the effect called warp stabilizer. And then, as you'll notice, it's right away going to say it's analyzing the footage in the background. Just wait for it to finish. And then once it's finished, you're done. You can play back the footage, and you have some other settings in there to kind of, you can play around with some of the results. But really, I found most of the time you don't have to do anything. You just apply it, and that's it. It works great. So in this example, this is the final effect that I got. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. It's almost as if I had it on a Steadicam. Here's another example I shot with my brother just as a test on the street. Again, it's just normal handheld shaky footage. And once I apply the warp stabilizer, it looks like I had a really good Steadicam. Here's another test that I did with my brother where I move in on his face. And this is how it looks once I apply the warp stabilizer. It's nice and smooth. And here's one more example where I kind of was trying to almost make it look like it's a dolly shot. So again, this is how it looks when I handheld it. It's kind of wobbly. And then here's how it looks after I apply the warp stabilizer. So as you can see, it's nice and smooth, and this thing can honestly can save your ass. I mean, I would still recommend using a dolly, you know, whenever you can. But if you can't afford it, then this is an amazing substitute. Not only that, but even if you have a dolly, and like I said, let's say you want to get a shot that looks like it's a crane shot, well, you could just go up a ladder or you know, some stairs while holding the camera, and then apply the warp stabilizer, and boom, it's gonna look like you had a nice crane on your set. Thanks for watching, guys. Come back next Monday. I'm gonna show you some more tips on how to make your shots look more cinematic. You know, how to add color correction, that kind of stuff. And also, I'm going to premiere this new video that I'm working on. It's going to be really fun.